Yeah.
Hi there, and welcome to the ATS podcast with me, Will Brown, and John Soulsby, where we break down chunks of health and fitness information into bite-sized pieces, remove a bunch of the noise, and just leave what's relevant. Today, we're on the last 4 questions of our top 20 most asked beginner gym questions, uh, which is starting off with question number 17, which is, can I lose weight with weight training alone? Yes, 100%, almost certainly.
I suppose there's two answers to this, I would say.
Hmm.
As in, if they're talking about with weight training being my only exercise, 100%. But if you're looking to like lose weight and effectively keep your same eating habits and just adding weight training, you might not.
That was, I mean, my assumption, even with your current eating habits, as long as you don't eat any more food and train
Yeah,
weights,
yeah,
you're still
totally.
probably going to lose weight.
I thought just for beginners, it's maybe worth adding that caveat in of
Mm.
you can always out eat
Oh yeah, 100%. It's way
training.
easier to out eat than train.
That's not the idiom. You can always, what is it? You can't out train a bad diet.
No,
And
not
by
at all.
bad diet,
Have
you can't.
tried for ages, doesn't
Yeah.
work. Really wish it did. Would be
Would
so
love it
much
because
better.
that's what I'm good at.
Yeah, you can only really get to that kind of stage if you are like Kipchoge and like
Yeah.
your daily running volume is like an approximate marathon and you
Yeah.
essentially do nothing else but run. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
funnily
Your
enough.
exercise time is longer than your eating time
Yeah, your
by a
exercise time is probably
significant
longer
margin.
than your sleeping time. Like it's
Yeah.
fucking mental. Like if you're one of those ultra
Um,
marathon people that run 100-mile races, at that point you kind of can't fuel too much, and you'll be fine.
but from an exercise standpoint, 100%.
Yeah, swimmers are in that group as well. I just remembered fucking caveat for big old Michael Phelps is constantly caveated with having a lot of
Yeah.
calories in his diet. It's like, yeah, mate, that's because he does like hours and
Because of
hours.
the thermal shock of water or whatever some
Yeah,
not about at some point
I
recently.
mean, not definitely not because they have like a part-time job's worth of training to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can lose weight with training alone. I mean, it's even when you get into all kind of fancy stuff like how much better it makes your insulin usage, like your regular depletion of glycogen, all that kind of shit is good for you. With resistance training, which is great. Um, I think it's actually had. I need to go look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's even had positive effects on like rescindence of symptoms of pre-type 2 diabetes stuff as well, just purely from a weight training intervention, not like a dietary
Um,
intervention,
yeah, I think it definitely has. I read
which
that a few weeks ago.
would be quite fun.
Cool.
Number 18, how do I target specific muscle groups? You do exercises that work them and do them with such technique that you feel them throughout and after.
Yeah. I suppose the most common example of this is a bicep curl. That's probably what is the most stereotypical gym exercise for like one muscle.
Yeah, like a kind of isolation exercise, but
Yeah.
the kind of general compass directions that I would try and use to follow would be you feel the target muscle in some way during the exercise. So that usually means it's quite a good one for that muscle group.
Yeah.
Specifically, you don't feel it anywhere else. So it's not like you're doing bicep curls and you're like, wow, my lower back is just really tired. Like that's
Yeah.
probably a bad sign. And number three, you have notable discomfort or soreness in the muscle following training days of that muscle. So you're like, well, I tried this new exercise for biceps last night and like it felt okay. I didn't really get the greatest pump, but the next day I was real sore in my biceps. You're like, probably a good bicep exercise. And the
Yeah.
fourth very little caveat would be that it doesn't make anything else kind of nippy or sore. Like you're not doing a specific variance where you're like, man, this is great, this pump is great, but it just really hurts my wrists, or I'm getting this weird like finger knuckle pain or something. Don't do that. Play around with the exercise, see if you can do the same exercise but without that kind of small pain. Would be my recommendation. Again, machines we've been over. Machines usually have pictures of what muscle groups they target, so even if you're looking at the machine being like, what in the mousetrap hell is this? Um, it might have a picture that says like, it'll have a picture of some like guy or some woman with like a red bit highlighted on their chest. You're like, probably a chest exercise then. Cool.
Yeah.
Question number 19. Should I hire a personal trainer? If you want to optimize the time frame and offset all of the thinking from all of the information we give you on this podcast and various other resources that you will no doubt choose to listen to? Yes. If you're like, money is tight, it can't be that hard, these absolute orangutans have managed to do it, then yeah, don't.
You're totally correct. We
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, don't do it. Like, we figured this shit out. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Just, you just
Um,
have to actually have some reasonable critical thinking skills and the willingness to, be uncomfortable for a significant amount of time.
yeah. I'd say like the two main ones I'd say to definitely think about it is if you are struggling with the confidence to start and want someone to like kind of show you how to get started in weight training. It's a great thing to do because personal trainers have, well, us decades of knowledge between the two of us and experience of doing it, and will help you get there quicker. And also a large one is if you need someone to help like stick to a plan. We call it like adherence, but essentially like it, having a personal trainer or just any form of coach like me online as well to just like keep you accountable and make sure you do what you say you'll do
Yeah.
will be super helpful.
Also quite handy if I hadn't really thought of this caveat until you started chatting about it, was if you happen to have a complication, like if you have a medical condition or you've been referred to exercise by a like your primary health care physician or whatever, or again you have any other kind of medical complication, it would be prudent to consult a professional, at least consult one to see if there's anything you should be concerned about. Like, all of this is for a very general recommendation of people without any complications. Like, if you have like if you're missing a limb or you have like any kind of chronic illness or disease, like if you've got Crohn's and you have an ileostomy bag or anything like that, there are considerations that need considering um, for you participating in formal exercise, and I would definitely consult a professional for those, at least to start with, just so you get an idea of what are the potential pitfalls for someone with your conditions, because
Yeah.
that are all of our things are based off a general human recommendation without taking into account any individual, because then you get into like it could technically be anyone, and so we need technically any potential answer, and that would just make the podcast about 12 hours long.
Yeah.
What should I do if I feel pain or soreness after weight training? We talked about this in an earlier one. Soreness in muscles is normal. Soreness in joints and connective tissues also semi-normal in people who are just starting, just because you are not used to anything at all. Um,
Yeah.
if it persists for a significant length of time, like 3 days plus, I would again think about like essentially potentially not repeat that exact amount of training. And if you want to make sure that they don't get as bad, the best thing to do is move. So like, don't just be like, oh, I'm so sore, I'm going to reduce my activity a lot. Like, get walking on them, get moving around. If you're due to have another training session and you're like, wow, I'm still sore, if you aren't training the same muscle groups, continue as normal. If the plan was to train the same muscle groups, immediately do like 50% less of what you were attempting to do on all fronts, sets, reps, like immediately cut all of it and just like do some real light stuff, get some blood in there, move around a bit, and you'll probably feel way better.
Yeah.
But yes, please understand that a bit like soreness and discomfort post resistance training, especially resistance training that is in any way getting you to the places you want to get to, and like, challenging, appropriately challenging, is likely to incur some soreness. There is no like pain-free, no hard work, no effort way to get any of the good stuff from this. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Like, there will be discomfort at times, but the idea, like the kind of finesse of it all, is very gently exposing you to the kind of new peripheries of discomfort at times where it's appropriate and you also want to go there. That's kind of the skill of it all.
Yeah. So
But yeah, that is our top 20 questions, beginner questions for weight training. We will catch you all when we are back to our regularly scheduled nonsense program questions or training questions in the next one.